Hey everybody, and welcome to the weekly forecast from the 18th of September right up until the 24th of September. So on the 22nd, the sun is going to move into the constellation of Virgo. Remember, this weekly forecast is focused on what the planets are doing and the luminaries in terms of the constellations they're in at any given sort of time. So loosely based on Vedic, but I called it constellational astrology, which was a whole thing, and I just like that system more. So I'm just going to jump right into it, talk a bit about later on what to do when the sun's in Virgo. So I'm just going to start from the 18th of September. If you like this, please share, please subscribe, and thanks for your time. So on the 18th of September, Mercury makes a Sesquiquadrate transit Saturn. So if you have strong 3rd, 6th, 10th or 11th house energy, or if you have a lot of planets in the sign that they rule or co-rule, so that will be if you have a lot of Gemini, Virgo, Saturn or Aquarius energy in your chart as well. This will affect you more. So there can be delays in transportation and communication. But the plus side of this is that serious thinking can be done. Excellent transit to use to focus on practical things, especially those you've been putting off that you need to get done. Negatively, you may become more narrow-minded and pessimistic and find it hard to stick to rules during this time. Be careful not to say things that have a bad mood and try to think before you say or do anything. Remember, we've still got that full moon energy still around us, so full moons can make us feel drained and down and all the rest of it as well. So if you have been feeling down, it is possible that you may feel even more depressed and discouraged at this time, to seek out support. You may be tempted to use the wrong tools for the job, such as a screwdriver to hammer a nail in the wall, or just taking any shortcuts. But I'll guard against that, because doing so could get you in trouble with authority. Your boss says, fill out this paperwork, and you're like, oh, don't want to do it, and you don't fill out the paperwork, and then further on down the line, you get yourself into trouble. So content creators can use this transit to talk about the power of routine and consistency, advising people how to bring more productive habits into their lives so they can effectively reach their goals. It's essential to train your mind to think positively at least 50 to 60% of the time, as after all, you can never think positively 100% of the time, because we are human after all. We don't need to be perfect. So also talking about how to deal with pessimism and being realistic about the many things that can make us humans lose hope in this ever confusing world, giving tips on how to remain optimistic in the chaos. The sun also makes a trine to Pluto, which can counteract the negative influence of Mercury Sesquiquadrate Pluto, allowing you to make small or significant changes in your life. This transit gives you the power to become intense about efficiency and be more productive and just being more focused on your goals. Whatever you put your action to right now can bring you long-term rewards. So you may feel more in touch with the side of you that wants to grow on the physical, emotional, spiritual or psychological levels. Also, positive insight into how to solve any problems you may be facing may be found by spending some time in introspection, meditation, or writing down your thoughts and emotions at this time. So that's the 18th of September. On the 19th of September, the moon enters void of course. Some astrologers say that it's best to put off important things while the moon is void of course. This is basically when the moon makes its last major aspect. So we're talking about conjunctions and trines and squares and oppositions, excluding any conjunctions it's made, such as sesquiquadrate or semisextile. So Mercury makes a sesquiquadrate to Uranus today, allowing for original ideas to be expressed. Negatively, people may judge those who have different opinions from them. This inflexible attitude can cause disturbances in relationships. Some may be overly anxious, bad temper, or otherwise emotional. Having no strings, fun and flirting can be just what the doctor ordered for some of you and brighten your day. Negatively, there's a risk of cheating and lying in committed relationships. However, Venus's trine to Uranus makes it easier to be turned on by those who are different. So if you're single, or even if you're not, as I just said, you may fall for someone out of your comfort zone. This is an excellent transit to start or continue the work of transforming self-destructive thought, relationships and behaviour patterns. Jupiter also makes a semi-square to Uranus, and this has been a transit that's been ongoing throughout the year, on and off. So there's a lot of Uranus energy today. So this aspect supports that some people may be illogical in their thinking and reactions. Be careful with all forms of speculation, gambling, risk-taking, especially on the stock market. Your boss or someone else in authority may try and enforce rules that you dislike, or you could be the person, the boss that who has to enforce rules or just does it for the sake of it, and this can cause negativity from whoever you're trying to enforce the rules on. It's crucial that you are patient and kind and on Moon Day 24 to 25 to reduce the risk of confrontation, as moods can change rapidly. So yeah, on the 20th of September, the moon enters Cancer. So home improvements, family, nurturing, taking care of bills and other domestic matters can take central stage when the moon enters into the constellation of Cancer. People may be more emotional and seek security over everything else and anyone else during this moon phase. You may want to spend time in your own home rather than socializing in nightclubs and bars and stuff like that. Some of you may retreat into your own cell. Severe words and actions can deepen any pain you may be in, so anything that is not a criticism can be taken this way. You can be more sensitive at this time, so it's essential that you try and get to the bottom of what's making you sensitive, and that you don't eat your emotions, because there is a risk with this Cancer energy that we overeat and overindulge in drugs and alcohol, or do anything else to numb ourselves from our feelings, because it can be hard to face our feelings at this time. But self-reflection, dealing with your emotions, is the best use of this energy, and taking care of all your private matters, as well as spending time with your family, friends or others with whom you have close connection, and healthily meeting their needs. Trying not to engage in toxic hookups or porn watching, which is good for the distraction in the short term, but in the long term, unless you deal with your emotions, they're going to keep on coming back and driving you into more self-destructive habits, creating a vicious cycle of giving you more pain in the long run. So yeah, some of you may spend more time entertaining and cooking for each other in each other's homes, spending money on practical and decorative items for your home, or looking for a new place to live or to invest cash in is also a good use of this vibration. Money problems, especially those involving family budgets, may cause stress and discomfort in your household. Unhealed psychological, emotional, spiritual wounds can surface from your subconscious mind into your consciousness, and some of you will be left really hurt by this. So seek out a therapist, or do some journaling, or listen to some music, do some meditation, breath work, just scream, go out in your car and scream, or anywhere you can scream, or fake scream, like do the motions with your mouth without the actual sound of the scream coming out, playing some computer games. I'm not promoting violence, but anything that you can do to channel any negative emotions in the self and healthy-ish way is beneficial. When the moon is in Cancer, it's a good time to plant and replant leafy fruits, vegetables and plants. Fertilizing and watering plants can increase their final harvest under the Cancer moon. Venus also makes a quincunx to Saturn, confirming that some of you may be more emotionally withdrawn than usual, and problems in intimate relationships are possible, yet this vibration is perfect for focusing on practical matters. On the 21st of September, the Sun makes a Sesquiquadrate to the Moon's North Node. You may be drawn to spending time with others, although it may be best to spend time alone if you can. This transit can make problems come out of seemingly nowhere in relationships. Still, whatever is brought up now should be dealt with, no matter how painful. Nevertheless, it may be best to avoid head-on conflict. If you feel drained, there is always a potential to blame others for your problems and the world and all the rest of it. And especially in intimate relationships, if you blame your partner, this can lead to harsh words and, at the worst end, endings in relationships. People may act or react more egotistically than normal and try to assert their power over others. Yet some of you can meet potentially life-changing connections that can help you advance in your career or personal goals. Whatever happens now, this is a chance to realise your weaknesses and traumas and find ways to understand, heal and manage them. So on the 22nd of September, there's a lot going on. The moon goes into its waning crescent moon, which is also called the Balsamic Moon. The sun enters the constellation of Virgo. Also has void, of course, as well. So I'm going to talk about the Balsamic Moon phase first because, I want to. So the Balsamic Moon may make you think about leaving the past behind, and we're going into the autumn equinox, which is tomorrow, so I'll talk about that as well, which is all about reassessing and finding balance. So some of you may decide to make peace with your darkness, your dark emotions. It's a good time during the Balsamic Moon phase to make space for yourself, mind, body and soul. It's a good time for personal reflection, contemplation. You may have some deep realizations. It's a time to start finishing up unfinished business, practice mindfulness, surrendering and giving up control and allowing yourself to transition and rebuild, doing some self-care to avoid or recover from suffering and exhaustion. It's also known as the dead moon, and it lasts around 3 days, although the effects of it can last longer. Some of you may uncover deep soul longings. It's a good time to listen and connect with your inner self. On top of that, the sun moves into the constellation of Virgo. I'll talk a bit more about that next week, but what I will say, key word for this energy is conscientious. So it's supporting you to become more modest and discriminating about who and what you spend your time on, being more thoughtful about your own self-care and how you treat yourself and how you treat others, giving you the chance to pay more attention to detail. And negatively though, because Virgo energy, it can make you become a bit more fussy and critical, so try not to. Be gentle with yourself. You're human, we all make mistakes, although it is good for that self-analysis to take a good look at what you want to keep in your life and what you want to get out of your life. You may worry more under this energy, but this energy helps you to be more determined and not discouraged by any deep emotions or experiences or troubles in your relationships that may happen right now. Also, when the sun's in the constellation of Virgo, it gives you the power to be more articulate in your communication and to express your ideas better and to actually, if you spend some time in thought, to actually know what you think. It's also a good time to set a routine and become more responsible in whatever it is you need to be more responsible in. So all in all, when the sun's in Virgo, it's a good time to just take care of practical matters and everyday life and routine. It's not all about fun, but life is not about fun, and the more that we take care of these little things, then we can have more time to have fun, believe it or not. A lot of the time when we're meant to be having fun, we're stressing about the things that we keep on putting off. So the sun in Virgo is a good time to get organised, do work that requires detail, such as researching or figuring out a new exercise or psychological health routine, and also working on how to improve your communications in your career or your personal and relationships as well. Also, the sun going in Virgo and the moon in the Balsamic dark waning crescent transit phase, you may find yourself asking questions like, what do I need to change to be who I want to be? What is stopping me? What patterns of the past do I keep repeating? What steps do I need to take to create the future I want? What do I need to give up to be able to move forward? Also, the moon moves into the constellation of Leo, so they can be an increase in romantic, social and artistic activity. People may be more dramatic or wear brighter colours while moods can be a little bit more cheerful. Accepting or giving pleasure can make people feel better. They may be more assertive about getting what they want right now if it is something that takes their interest. Negatively, people can become bossy and controlling, wanting to dominate, which can cause a battle of wits and egos because people can become highly self-righteous, thinking their way is the only way. Taking risks also without planning or thinking before can cause misery and disagreements. There can also be fallouts in intimate relationships due to people who are seeking more fun, not maybe spending the household budget on going out clubbing, having a good time, on new gadgets that you really don't need. The best use of the energy of the moon in the constellation of Leo is to pay more attention to your inner child and the lives of any actual children you are involved in. Well thought out speculation, however, can pay off on the stock market or any other form of risk taking. The moon in Leo is also perfect for creatively expressing yourself. Some of you may decide to go to the theatre, watch more movies than usual and socialise more, but remember to relax as much as you can. When the moon is in the constellation of Leo, it can be a very infertile period for gardeners, yet it is good energy for harvesting and disposing, getting rid of bad crops. The sun also conjoins Mercury today, suggesting that those in power may be more dominating than usual, and people in general may lack objectivity, not seeing each other's point of view. People may tend to talk more rather than listen, which listening is needed for effective communication. Positively, this aspect gives you the ability to have more psychological strength than expected. If you want to spend some time in deep concentration, this is possible with conscious intent if you put your mind to actively listening. So yeah, that's the 22nd of September. So yeah, on the 23rd of September, we start the autumn equinox, and I've done a separate video about that, and hopefully I'll put the link in. Hopefully I will do that. If not, check out my playlist. If you're listening to this anywhere else, hopefully I've put a link in so you can go in and watch that, where I talk about autumn equinox in more depth. So yeah, on the 23rd of September, the autumn equinox happens. So what is it? And all the rest of it, I'll explain it in brief now. So the autumn equinox basically is when the sun shines directly on the equator. The northern and the southern hemispheres of the earth get the same amount of rays, meaning the day and night are exactly the same length of time. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell what the equinox is. Also at the time of the equinox, the sun's ecliptic, the pathway of the sun, and the celestial equator meet, the crisscross, the intersect. And then after the autumn equinox, the northern hemisphere begins to move away from the sun on the tilt, making the days shorter than the nights, until when the winter solstice happens on the 21st, the days begin to become longer again. In Vedic and constellation astrology, the zodiac signs the spring and autumn equinox falls on are mutable, which is the spring is Pisces and the autumn, this one is Virgo, supporting you in being imaginative and conscientious, showing that change and flexibility as well as self-analysis and practical action are needed to bring about change. Astrologically, it is a time that you ask yourself, do I keep going on the path that I'm on, or do I need to change direction? So yeah, that's all I'm going to mention about the autumn equinox in this video. Check out my other video about it, which I will put the link for. Also on the 23rd of September, Mercury makes a Sesquiquadrate to the moon's north node, giving another chance to search for or make influential or psychologically motivating contacts. Negatively, people can become more sly, scheming, or difficult than usual. Venus also makes an opposition to Neptune, so this behaviour can leak into matters of the heart, with people lying to get what they want regardless of the emotional cost to their prey. Venus opposition to Neptune can make people not think clearly, causing problems in relationships and disappointments in love. This vibration is best used for creative expression and appreciation. Your heart and actions can be in the right place, but people may take advantage of this, or you may be the one who lies to get what you want, which can have repercussions further down the line. Also be careful when joining any new groups at this time, especially those related to occult, religion, philosophy, drama or sex. Check anything you sign, get help to make decisions from someone who can think clearly, and watch out for scams and get rich quick schemes, which are typically, in reality, get poorer quickly scams. Moon Day 27 to 28 is a day when you shouldn't waste any opportunity that comes your way to make progress in your life. Be cautious and make sure you're looking after your health. Taking time out from your usual routine can make you feel rejuvenated or open you up to new ideas or solutions to problems, even if it's just 5 minutes. On the 24th of September, the moon void of course starts at 6:51 p.m. Moon Day 29 is an excellent time to make space for learning new things. The sun is still in Virgo, allowing for intense mental concentration and taking care of practical matters. It's best to focus on long-term goals rather than short-term gains, paying attention to matters of importance and ignoring the shallow. This can be a highly sensual day, so take some time out to nurture yourself and those you care about. So yeah, that's the weekly forecast from the 18th to the 24th of September. Take care. Bye bye.